it's Laynie and welcome to my channel. How are you guys doing? I hope you have had a fantastic week. I am so excited to sit down and hang out with you guys today because I am just falling back in love with fragrance. Don't get it twisted, I've loved fragrance this whole time, but I definitely have moments where I'm just not as into it or as excited for it, and I'm back to being really excited about playing with fragrance, and I'm a sucker for testing new fragrances. Truly, it is like Pokemon. I've got to catch them all. I want to smell every single perfume that was ever made. Impossible, but it sure sounds fun. And so today we're going to test some fragrances together. I hope you're excited. I'm excited. If you love fragrance content, beauty content, and a little bit of lifestyle content, make sure you click that subscribe button. Join our community. It would mean the world to me. I'm going to try not to ramble. You know I'm going to ramble. All right, let's go. A couple months ago, I signed up for Scentbird again. I got Scentbird way back in the day when it first really came to the market. I was just kind of your average scent lover, not an addict like I am now. But I realized in this year 2026 my collection is already very large, and so I only want to bring in things that I truly love. I'm trying to declutter some. It's a work in progress. I know it's not going to happen overnight because I don't like to make rush decisions, because there's nothing worse than getting rid of something that a year or so later you end up falling back in love with, and then you got to buy it again. But I still love the hunt. I love getting to try new fragrances and putting my nose on new things. But as you guys know, it can get really pricey to purchase all the time. So in this year, I've got some financial goals I'm trying to work towards, get us in a better place. And so I'm trying to be wise with my budget as well. So bringing in new bottles of things that I don't know anything about just doesn't sound like a good idea. So I was like, I'm going to sign up for Scentbird again because it's still a fun way to get to try new things and not break the bank. I signed up for 2 trials a month. This sits at just under $30, so it's not what I would call cheap for a subscription, but things I do love about Scentbird are they've honestly improved their options a lot. There's so many more trending fragrances on there than there used to be. There's more niche, which is exciting. If you're new to Scentbird or you're considering it, please be aware though that some of the niche or more expensive fragrances you are going to be upcharged for, which is kind of a bummer. But how I justify it is I would spend, when I would buy samples, sometimes I would spend $15 to $20 on a little sample if it's something that's not on most of the mainstream sample websites. That is how I justify the upcharge when I go for something that's a little bit more expensive on Scentbird. I also think the size of the vials is very generous. Like, you can get some good wear out of these, and if you're like me and you have a lot of fragrances, these honestly stay in my collection for a very long time. I have heard some people have issues if you don't use them quick enough, they will go bad. I have not thankfully had that problem. I've got a couple in my collection that have been there for a few years and they're still fine when I smell them. But anyways, enough rambling. What fragrances are we going to talk about today? There was 2 on the Scentbird site that I was really excited to see. First of all was the Maker Dream. I could not find this anywhere near me. I couldn't believe it. I saw other Maker products, but I couldn't find Dream. I saw so many people on YouTube talking about it, and they described it as like a cinnamon roll, and oh my gosh, cinnamon rolls are a weakness over here. I love them. There's nothing cozier than a cinnamon roll in the winter time. So on the Scentbird site, it says this is an enchanting vanilla gourmand inspired by sweet fantasy. The featured notes are magnolia, vanilla bourbon, white sandalwood, and cinnamon butter. Of course, that caught my eye. And I do love a fragrance with unique notes, things you don't see all the time. And I don't think I've ever seen cinnamon butter before. I have seen butter in listed notes, but never cinnamon butter. Anyone else just go crazy with the cinnamon butter at Texas Roadhouse? I don't even dine there because the 3 times I have, I end up eating so many of their rolls that I then can't eat my dinner. So I avoid that place, but my gosh, cinnamon butter is delicious. A full bottle is $175. I feel like that's pretty pricey. Since they do sell this brand at Sephora, I was caught off guard. I was not expecting it to sit that high for a full bottle, hence why I never did a blind buy of this. And I'm glad I didn't. This is not a bad fragrance at all. I do find the opening to be a bit harsh. I feel like I really do get kind of that boozy vanilla bourbon vibe in the opening. that is a little too scratchy hairspray vibes for me. It is not smooth in the opening. When you hear cinnamon butter, I'm thinking it's gonna be creamy, dreamy, yummy, spicy from the get-go, and I don't get that. It's pretty harsh in the opening to my nose. Then more of the woods come forward, and more cinnamon definitely comes forward. And I am a cinnamon note lover. I love a good spicy fragrance when done well. And there's something in here that I don't love. It's very cinnamon bark. Like, this is very woody, much more woody than I would have expected. It's a very dry fragrance. I don't get that smooth creaminess that I'm looking for. This honestly could be pretty unisex. There is something in here that reminds me a little bit of Kayali's Invite Only, that kind of cinnamon broomstick vibe, which I love that fragrance. I really love to layer it with other things. I definitely wouldn't need this in my collection, already having Invite Only. They scratch the same itch for sure. And I have actually worn this one. It smells good. It's not bad by any means, but it sat really close to my skin. And I thought maybe it was just me, but I've seen other comments saying it didn't project. So not just a me thing, I think the projection on this one is fairly weak. Had I bought this full price, full bottle, I would have been disappointed with this blind buy. Again, not a bad fragrance at all. The things I like about it, the cinnamon in there is really nice. As the vanilla comes forward, it kind of bakers vanilla. And as it does get a little bit smoother, I start to enjoy it more. It's just not as smooth and yummy as I would want. It's not very sweet at all. Don't go into this thinking it's going to be super sweet. I don't need it to be super sweet, but I would like it to be about, I'm going to say 15 to 20% more sweet than it is, or at least a little richer and thicker. Have you tried the Maker Dream? If so, let me know your thoughts down below. I don't want it to sound like this is a bad fragrance. It's not. I can see why people like it. I just feel like the reviews I was seeing put something into my head that isn't what I was getting. It's just not what I thought I was gonna get. And for that, it fell a little flat for me. And I'm very glad I did not buy a full bottle of the Maker Dream. One that was almost impossible to find any testers of is a fragrance that went totally viral. I think it was just last year. Like, everybody was talking about it, raving about it. It was the talk of the town in the fragrance community. This is Cirque du Soleil's La de Perfume. I'm sure I'm butchering that. I definitely don't speak French. Okay, I'm very Midwestern. I mean, people went crazy for this one on YouTube. The bottle is very cool. I'll put a picture up here so you can see it. It is an interesting bottle. On Scentbird, it is described as a fragrance that explores and pushes boundaries. And there is something I really like about this. The featured notes are red apple, iris petals, cotton candy, vanilla bean, freesia. I am surprised the Scentbird site doesn't list caramel corn, because I feel like that was a very big deal in this fragrance and why so many people really loved it. I will say I really like that the cotton candy isn't front and center in this. I'm wearing Skylar's Boardwalk Delight today, so I'm not against a cotton candy scent, but I do feel like we went through a good 2-year period where it felt like so many things were all about cotton candy, and I got a little tired of it. To me, the caramel popcorn is definitely something more enticing in here than the cotton candy. It's got a nice, airy, soft sweetness that is how I imagine cotton candy. When you pluck off a piece of cotton candy and it's so light and fluffy and airy. So yes, that is in here. But I really like the caramel popcorn note in here, and it's done really well. It's not too rich. It's also not too in-your-face popcorn, because I had a fragrance by Zara. It was called Cashmere Musk, that I loved the smell of the popcorn note in it because it's interesting, it's different. But when I wore it, I just didn't like how it smelled on me. Like, it was too salty popcorn, and it did something funky with my body chemistry. This is caramel popcorn done right. It's still perfumey. I don't think someone would smell you and instantly go, you smell like a movie theater, because no one wants to smell like a movie theater. The apple really does something beautiful with that caramel popcorn note. And I think that's what keeps it from going movie theater or too foodie. The apple plays really nicely with it. And it's not something I would ever consider putting together, but it does give you like caramel apple, caramel popcorn came together and made a beautiful scent in a way that I never expected I would enjoy. With the notes in here, you could expect this to be way too rich, way too sweet. It is not headache inducing, it's not cloying, it's not stomach turning. For someone who loves gourmands but can no longer do super in your face sweet gourmands, this is done really nicely. And again, I think the apple saves the day in this one. Apple to me is bright, it's invigorating, it's a little bit fresh, so it really plays beautifully with those more gourmand, heavier notes, and it's just the perfect balance. I have not given this an actual wear, so I can't speak to longevity, but this one I like a lot more than I expected. I thought it was either going to be too kitschy or too foodie, and I didn't think I was going to love it, but I actually really enjoyed this one. I get the hype now. Sometimes my guard is up with those really ultra hyped fragrances because I'm like, do you just love this because it was sent to you? Were you paid to say it? Can it really be that good? But honestly, I really like this one, and I feel like this would be a really perfect transition fragrance for spring when it's not yet warm. Like, I feel like this is perfect for that cool days, but the sun is out, spring is around the corner. It is happy, it's bright, it's yummy, but it is not too much. It's still perfumey, which is my type of gourmand. I don't want to actually smell edible, but I do want you to think I smell yummy. I really like this Cirque du Soleil perfume. Have you guys tried it? If so, let me know your thoughts down below. Did you enjoy it, or was it overhyped for you? How much is a full bottle of this? Ooh, girl, this is expensive. Holy moly, a full-size bottle of this is $195. Wow, that was even more than I expected. Wow, I'm very glad I didn't blind buy this. That is one where I'm like, I can't justify that price. I can't lie. I do feel like I could find something that gives me a similar vibe from Bath and Body Works. I feel like they're really good about making those like playful time and place type fragrances, and that is kind of what I get from this. I do really enjoy it, but wow, that's expensive. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today and sniffing perfumes. I always love getting my nose on new things. I cannot wait to give the Cirque du Soleil perfume an actual wear. I do think it'll play really beautifully in the air around me as I move through my day. As always, you guys, please try to stay positive, because at the end of the day, that is truly all we can try to do. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.